Welcome back. We have some pretty crazy bipolar weather going on. It was snowing a couple days ago. It's supposed to be right around 90 in just 2 days from now. So I decided that I think that means it's time to get out here and get to work because things are actually starting to green up and starting to grow. And I don't see a whole lot of hard freezes or anything else coming, which is usually my sign personally to get started on some things and get out here and get some of the brown taken off the yard, which is what I was doing today. So obviously we got some brown still stuck down in the yard, but there's a lot of green in here that just wants to come out and wants to get that sunlight. So this is the time, like I said, that I will just come and basically cut this down. I've set the mower on my zero turn as low as it goes, which is 1 inch. But I was probably at about 1.5 inches for the winter season too, so that wasn't a shock to it. Obviously, if you're at like 3 inches or something, you don't want to cut it down that low and scalp everything. But just go out and kind of take those brown tips off is what I was going for today. And it should let the sunlight get down in here a little easier down to the soil, start warming things up. These warm temps are definitely going to jumpstart things quickly. So I was kind of interested in doing one test area over here. It's kind of a thinner spot that I really need to overseed anyway, but wanted to just see if it will jumpstart it a little bit faster than some of the other areas. And then I can kind of make a decision. I would honestly love to get back to real mowing this front yard. I really enjoyed that. Just that it's a time commitment since you have to use the walk behind compared to me being on my zero turn and kind of zipping through it very, very quickly. But using some PGRs and some things to slow the grass this year, I might be able to accomplish it. I loved the look of it for sure, but it's just a time commitment thing and a little bit more maintenance and things that go along with that. We'll see. I just want to do this test area first, let this be for a few days, and we'll see what happens. I can always come back and cut the other part of the yard a lot shorter too as we go and kind of step it down, but we'll see how this goes. Overall though, the health of this looks really, really good for being planted last fall, well, late last summer. So it didn't have a lot of time. We had a pretty tough winter in terms of no snow cover. I was concerned that that might have some winter kill on it, but I don't really see anything too major. I don't see really any snow mold because we didn't have much snow. Pretty good recovery overall. Not sure where I left this as far as height of cut goes. But I put quite a bit of sand down on the green just to help protect the crowns of the plant during the winter time since I don't have a cover on it right now. So I want to raise this up slightly just to try to avoid as much sand as I can. It's definitely going to hit some, and this needs to be backlapped, but I haven't done it yet because of that reason. So somewhere around 0.135. So that's saying 0.150 over there. Good to go. Yeah, picking up way too much sand at that height. Let's try 0.175. Well, my experiment to not mow through so much sand didn't really work out so well. It just it's kind of all over in the canopy of the grass. No matter what height I put it at, it just didn't really make a difference. So I'll have to get this mower sharpened. And speaking of that, if anyone knows, within maybe a couple hour distance of Des Moines, if any course or anywhere would be willing to sharpen a mower for me in the future, I have not been able to find a place yet that's very close to me. So I'm willing to kind of drive somewhere to get it done. It's only going to be maybe a once or twice a year deal. If anyone knows of anywhere that would be willing to do that, please let me know. That would be great. I never really thought I would have to think about irrigation at this point, but it's supposed to be nearly 90 in 2 days. So I think probably maybe in the morning I'm gonna come out here, set up a sprinkler. I don't have my irrigation on yet, and get some water on this thing, just get it ready for that heat to come, since there's so much sand up on the top of the surface, and it wouldn't be bad to give it a drink anyway. Sometimes even forget that I have a well because it doesn't get run whatsoever during the winter. So it's always kind of a little bit nerve-wracking right now when I need to turn it on and make sure that it works. So I'll let that run for a little while now. They've moved our forecast for tomorrow to 90 degrees. Looks like it's also going to be quite dry. So that's why I'm doing this today, because it can quickly, especially on sand, I got quite a bit of sand on there now, can quickly dry out that top layer. So I want to go into that first little bit of stress without it being too dry. So I'm just trying to get ahead of that a bit. I think I'm going to turn on my irrigation pretty soon too. I'm just waiting on a couple of days next week. Forecast looks like it's going to be in the 20s, but I'm just kind of waiting to see what the soil temp does, because down in the ground, as long as things warm up in the next few days, I wouldn't be worried about that. But I just don't want to turn it on too early and then have a major cold spell come or something where I would have to deal with that. Right now the sprinkler works, but it's a little slower process for sure. So I always tell myself that I'm going to get my liquid fertilizer started way earlier in the season, and I never do it. So today's March 20th, and that's the earliest ever that I would have actually got my fertilizer started. The reason that I want to get going on liquids is because we're not applying very much. It's going to be a slow process getting everything to wake up, and that's exactly what I want. I don't want a whole bunch of fertilizer going down, and then as soon as that spring flush hits, you know, you're growing 1.5 inches a day. You definitely do not want that. So just a slight bit of something, since it hasn't had anything for months and months over winter. Then doing this consistently will definitely help to just slow that process, but green things up nicely too. So today I'm actually going to get started on that. So I bought this sprayer used a couple summers ago, and it's only a 20-gallon, but it has helped me immensely to get done with a lot of areas that I need to do without having to use a backpack or something, pull behind or whatever. So I would like to hopefully maybe get a bigger tank and kind of utilize the same pump that's on here if I can, just because I'd like to put it in my UTV and be able to do more area than 20 gallons. These tips that are on here are set for basically 1 gallon per 1,000, so you go through it pretty fast. Today I'm going to make this easy. Use some Simple Lawn liquid in here. This is 15015. I think I'm going to start with about 6 ounces per 1,000. My front yard that I mowed yesterday is 5,000 square feet, so we'll just put 30 ounces of this. I'm also just going to put in just a little bit of lawn energizer. This is for a small hit of a few micronutrients and iron. So we'll just add just like a small amount of this, probably maybe like 4 ounces per 1,000. So one thing that's not fantastic about this sprayer that I've learned so far is it doesn't clean out the tank that great. So especially if you're on any slope that's going this direction away from the pump, it just stops spraying. So usually at the end I have to find a slope that goes the other direction, try to empty the tank out that way, which right now it's fairly good because I found a good slope and put it on that, but that's why I had to add a little more water for sure than 5. Like, you can never really spray probably the last gallon or so consistently. Otherwise, it's at least better than walking the whole thing. So if you'll remember, I planted my elite bluegrass over here in this little area. We got our dog fence put in late fall last year. The dogs have been utilizing this thing a lot during the winter. We did not have much snow cover for the entire winter, so they were out here with a lot of traffic on it with no snow cover. It's really starting to recover nicely. I do have a few dog spots kind of right in this doorway area where they come in and tend to go to the bathroom right here, but that's again why I also did bluegrass, so that we can get some repairability. Although it's not extremely quick, it will start to repair. I can also move some plugs into those areas. The plan is to also hopefully have one area where we can kind of train them to go into, so we'll see how that works out. Really happy with bluegrass, you know, only being about 6 months old, not bad at all. So really the exact same plan on this that I did in the front yard as far as getting some liquid on there. So today I'm going to be using the 1648. Comes in the Lawn Essentials box. These hose end products were designed really just for exactly what the name says, simple lawn solutions. You just don't have any cleanup, you don't have any backpacks to deal with. For small areas, like, you know, if you have a small yard like this, or like what I was working on at my brother's place, you know, very small front yard, these products are just perfect for that. Well, that's about it for the first couple days out in the lawn. I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.